Sorry, Brother Hamby. We thought we had a video, so I think that's throwing me off a little bit. But yeah, we're so thankful for what God's doing, and you know, the great opportunity that we've had and been presented with this group of young adults, the Hyphen group. Like Brother Hamby said, just started out with a lot of expectation, a lot of burden, and just didn't know where it was going to go and what it was going to do. But we know we serve a great God, and prayerfully considered it, prayed as it started up just with a bang and hasn't looked back. Had a lot of firsts this year, but a lot of fun, and so really appreciate all the support from our church family as well. You guys have been great, a lot of encouragement, a lot of just a great church to be in. Love this church, and you guys have just rallied behind it and really been a big part of it. You know, a lot of you consider yourself as Hyphen members as well, and that's okay. So up next is it's going to be Sister Cassidy has an expressive speech, and then it'll go into Logan preaching on. What was your time again? Sorry. So it'll be Logan, Brother Cody, and me. Y'all worship with us and get behind us tonight. Thank you, guys.
Praise the Lord, church. I'm out of breath. I found something I kind of wanted to do, but first I'm gonna do something real quick, and I promise I have a point. I just want to take a selfie with the congregation. If you can kind of see, here, I'll widen it. Here we go. If you can get in it, smile. All right. I will. Hashtag selfie, YOLO, twerk. These are just a few of the words that have consumed our daily lives, our work. And by work, I mean our purpose, what we were sent here to do by our amazing Creator. But we've forgotten about Him too. You see, we care more about the likes on an Instagram photo than the amount of love that we show. We turn on the TV the second we get home, but we turn our head when we see someone alone, someone lost, someone hurting. But we're too busy rewording a tweet, and we live in this little bubble where our life is so nice and so sweet. Self-sufficient and self-serving. Isn't it unnerving that we live in a world that values material possessions, and it doesn't bother to ask the question if what we do is right, and instead, does it feel good? I mean, if it feels good, it must be right. We forget that most regret comes from what seemed to feel good at the time. I mean, we say we want to change the world, but all we end up doing is changing our statuses. But Cassidy, I post about Jesus. Yeah, well, that's good, and that's fine. But a selfie with the Bible verse, I guess what I'm saying or what I'm implying is that it's about making everyone else that our lives are so grand. Funny how the boastful ones were the ones that Christ couldn't stand. And if it's not surprising how walls of insecurities are rising, then we are constantly comparing our backstories to the highlights of everyone else's lives. I mean, I meet more girls every day who would rather die because they see themselves as worthless. They think their life has no purpose. I mean, who can compare to the image of beauty in Vogue that is seemingly perfect? Guys getting high and using girls like a drug because, bro, you ain't cool unless you're living like a thug. It's just a circle of using and abusing and being used. And I'm so done with the gift of free will being abused. It's time to take your life, it's time to make your life worth more than just the highest score on Flappy Bird. You have a voice that should be heard. You want to be happy and love yourself more? How about you stop focusing on you and start opening a door, covering a meal? Live your life the way where the person you portray isn't a copy of what the world tells you to be. Because the very best version is the one that can break free of all of the influence and find that inner confidence. And once you find that, you're going to start to realize that you don't need more than 12 likes to feel pretty. And you won't want to subtweet just to feel pity. Once we can all reach this point, that's where change begins to happen. And maybe I'm crazy, but I have this vision that our generation breaks the stereotypes of religion and that we break down the walls of judgment and pride and instead, with arms open wide, welcome everyone inside to a place here where we can all come together to do the things that God really wants us to do. Like loving each other and loving Him more than ourselves and more than our things. Now, some say that won't happen. So I'm going to challenge you to all make the change in yourself and to change what the future brings. Because maybe social media sets the norm, but I, for one, will not be frozen in a world I've been chosen to transform. Romans 12:1 says, I beseech you therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, that ye present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable unto God, which is your reasonable service. And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God. It is not the will of God for you to feel insecure about everything just because of what the internet says. It is not the will of God. There's this app, and I'm not condemning it because I use it too. I use social media. I'm not condemning social media. But there's this app, it's called Instagram. Most of you probably heard it. And it's an app where you take a picture and you have the ability to edit this picture and to make it how you want it to look. And you can distort it, you can do whatever you want to it. And so we tend to use this app. I want to kind of delegate this into what I'm trying to say. This app, a lot of people put on their bios, you have a little profile and you have a bio, and it says, and a lot of them say, my life in squares. I don't want my life to be bounded by a square. I want to be able to break free. And I had notes. I haven't used them. So I'll try to stick with them a little bit. In this square that we live in on Instagram, in this, we'll just call it an Instagram world, there is no room for growth. There is only this perfect picture that we have created in order to please the other people that are viewing this picture. It's a pleasure thing. It's not real. It's not what we look like. There are tons of filters that distort the image, that make it look like that it's not what it really is. It can make your skin look better, it can make your hair look better, the lighting looks better, but it's not the real thing. It's fake. I have to realize that if it's everything that I'm doing on this app, is everything that I'm doing in life in general, is it to glorify God? Is it something that will glorify Jesus? And I'm sorry, a picture of a burrito that says, this was delicious, what does God care about that? Nothing. But when you take the time to post on social media an advertisement for a youth service or for a church service that's going on, that is glorifying and edifying God. That is the purpose. That is what we should be doing it for. Not for ourselves, not for those people who are looking at it, but for God. Don't conform to the standards of how the world says you should look. That's what I'm trying to get across, is you don't have to conform to that. You can be yourself. And whatever you do, do not set your limits to one box, to one square. Because if you open yourself, God is going to open doors and use you for his kingdom.